Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome back to the channel. Now today we have another video very similar to the Doctor Strange one I done a few days ago, where we will look at a recently unlocked node, and it's one where you can farm a pretty awesome hero as well. So it's Cosmic 3.9. If you can 3-star this mode, then you'll be able to get Black Panther on farm, and Black Panther is a pretty awesome character. Now, like the Doctor Strange video I done a few days ago, this is really quite a difficult node, and I think this possibly will be the case going forward for the newer characters, that their nodes will be harder to complete there, so you really have to work away at it. But I've got a team here that we managed to pass it with and 3-star it, so what I'll do is I'll show off the team first and explain the rationale for using that team, and then once we've done that I'll talk you through the actual stage as well. But let's check out the team I used. So with the team we're using here, we've got 4 characters that you can now actually farm through the campaign, and then you've got one that was available via an event, and that is of course Thanos. Now Thanos is simply there to soak up a little bit of damage as a protector, so if you don't have him then you can substitute him for Drax, and that will work just as well. Now next up we have Nebula. Now initially I did have Thor in the team. He hits like a truck, but the problem with Thor is he is so very slow, and there's no one in this particular team that can actually speed him up. So that's the reason I dropped him out and I put Nebula in the place of him, and I actually get much better results with that. We then have Yondu. We just know overall he is fantastic. And then you've got Gamora, who's very good for putting out a huge amount of damage, because in this level you do have to take out a certain amount of operators before they can cast their skills 4 times, so damage is important. Finally we have Doctor Strange. Now you can farm him via Mystic 2.9, and I've done a video for that just a day or 2 ago, so if you've not yet passed that, check out that particular video. Now Doctor Strange is vital here, the reason being that at a certain point in the match the enemies will cast a ton of buffs on themselves, and he can actually flip them all. It's regen they cast and he flips it into bleed, and that really helps you out a lot there. But with all that covered, let's now run through the gameplay. With this stage then, we can see that we've got 3 Kree nobles here, each with the little yellow arrows above their head. As they cast a skill, it charges up the node behind them, and if they actually cast that 4 times, that's it, it's game over. So you do, to an extent, have to burn them down, but you also need to make sure you take care of Thor, because he can give you a whole lot of trouble, especially if he gets to the point where he can fire off his ultimate. That will wreck your chances of getting 3-star here. So that's the reason I actually started off on Thor, doing a bit of damage and applying the ability block. Now next up you want to focus on one of the nobles. I go for the one on the right because she's actually got the lowest speed bar, so there's a chance you can hopefully take her out before she gets any turns. Next up we have the Loki that joins you in this map, and you want to call in his summons because they do a heap of damage, but they'll actually pull some of the aggro as well. And then what we're doing is we're applying our stacks of evade to Nebula here via her ultimate. A bit more damage on the noble here via Yondu. And then what we want to do is we want to put the offense down from Doctor Strange onto Korath, because he can do a fair bit of damage and he's got the speed buff on him as well. So you want to kind of mitigate the damage that he can do. No chance but to put the offense down on that character there, because they did have a taunt on them. And then we don't want to slow them here with the basic on Korath. We want to burn them down as quick as we can so we can go back to taking out the nobles. So there you go, there's the regen I mentioned earlier on, and there's the other stack of it, so they've got a ton. Now in a moment we'll get a shot with Doctor Strange and we'll be able to flip all these, and this is what really turns the match for you. It turns them all into bleeds, and that helps out a ton. So that's turn number 1 they've got here. It will be round about turn number 3. It is going to be pretty tight, because if you focus on them too much, the likes of Korath and Thor and even Loki will take you out, so it really is a bit of a balance here. And we can hopefully take out this character here with the ultimate. And there we go. We'll go back to that noble we've been working on. We're getting on the lower side there. Now we've got ability block on Ronan, so what we'll do is we'll put the ability block on Korath. Thor's got a few more turns before he casts his ultimate, so we don't have to worry too much about him just yet. Then we've got a slow on Thor. With his already slow attack speed, that really works great. You do a nice amount of damage here with Loki's special and defense down on it as well. He's actually doing it back on myself as well. Thanos takes a fair amount of damage there. Huge amount of damage actually. And let's see who Ronan puts ability block on. Actually didn't put it on anyone, that's nice. And then you've got Nebula for counter attack. Now we'll go for the Yak Arrow here, just to do damage to everyone. And then here we go, we can now flip all these buffs of regen here, so this will be really useful. What we want to do as well is it applies 2 other debuffs, so we'll cast it on the next Noble so we can hopefully slow them down and apply other debuffs to them. There we go, we've got the slow on them there. So that's turn number 2, we've got 2 more left. I know it doesn't look good at this point, but we are still managing this well here. So what we'll do is we'll hopefully take out the Noble. We didn't take them out, that was a surprise with how much health they had. There we go, they're out this time now. So we're now back to Loki's summons here, so let's see. We'll actually try and take out Thor if we can. I feel a lot more comfortable once he's out this level. They do a real nice amount of damage, those summons. There we go, that's him out, that's much better. So let's see, we've got the basic on Korath, so we've got the slow. We'll apply that to the Noble there, so they don't get their turn off hopefully, because we are 2 out of 4. Now Gamora's went down, but similar to the last video I done with Doctor Strange, you probably will lose a character here, but you have Doctor Strange to actually res them and bring them back so you can still get your 3-star rating. So we've now got some summons from Yondu. You have to make sure you don't summon too many when a character gets beaten, otherwise you'll have 10 full characters, and when you cast the revive you won't bring your character back in again and you'll only 2-star the level. So that's something you need to look out for. I fell with that earlier on, unfortunately. So we can see they're all getting a bit on the lower side now. I want to take out this particular one here as soon as we can. They're almost down. There we go, that was nice. We actually got 3 hits there. Spot healing here on Thanos because he is particularly low, and if we lose 2 characters that's it, it's game over for our 3-star rating. So we're now on 3 out of 4. We want to burn down this operator really as quick as we can now, otherwise it's game over if they get the last turn here. We'll get a nice amount of health back on Thanos. As mentioned, you can replace Thanos with Drax and it will work just as well there. Spot healing from Ronan there. So you can see that Noble is really getting quite low. Now we've got the ultimate, so what we'll do is we'll cast it on Korath because the Noble is only half filled their speed bar. And then let's see now what we'll do. We'll take out Korath. Then I don't have to worry about him either. We're starting to look good here. We've got Gamora coming back in now. There we go. Then we'll burn down this operator just so we're not taking any chances. After that we'll want to focus on Loki, because if Loki brings in his summons and they've got evade, that can really give us a lot of trouble. So there we go, we don't have to worry about the timer part of it anymore. So we'll now burn down Loki. We're firmly in control now. So you don't really have a massive amount of RNG the way you had on the Doctor Strange node, in that you had to bring in Mordo and hope he got his slows and his blinds and his stuns. This is just really all about making sure you prioritise the right targets. You want to take out the Noble on the far right, but you also want to lock down Thor, you want to slow him, you want to ability block him and just stop him from getting the ultimate off. And here we go. This entire team against Ronan. We're not going to have any trouble here. Gamora's got her ultimate. No space to bring in any summons from Yondu here. That was nice, we got a team up attack. I actually procs really quite often on Nebula. She's a vastly underrated character. So what will we go for now? We'll go for the defense down on him and then finish him off. This should be the final hit. And there we go. So that's us. So we'll quickly skip by the cutscene here. And then we should see the rating come up. There we go, 3 stars. That means you can now farm Black Panther. So fingers crossed this particular guide helps. If you've got any questions or if there's anything else I can help out, as always, just ask in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.